So there's a pulse rifle that I recently pulled out of my vault just because I was like, you know what? I used to use this gun a lot, and I kind of miss it. I'm going to pull it out and just see how it does. And I was blown away by the fact that, I mean, it used to be a fantastic pulse, and I thought maybe in the current meta it wouldn't be that way because a lot of things from year one are like that. But lo and behold, this thing shreds. I mean, I'm dropping 50 bombs here and there, multiple 40 bombs, 30 plus kill streaks, and it's not because I'm just being a hipster and, you know, and playing kind of funky. No, like, this thing's good. Like, it's legitimately good, outgunning some pretty meta pulse rifles right now if you land your shots. And this gun, you can no longer obtain it. You can't get it anymore. So if you don't have it, you don't have it, which is a shame, and that's something I'll get to at the end of the video. But this is a faction weapon. This pulse rifle comes from the new Monarchy faction back in year one when faction wars were actually a thing. It's called the John 7. Now, this is an energy pulse rifle. It comes with Zen Moment, ricochet rounds, an SLO-10 post sight, which adds range and handling, and I've got a masterwork for range on it. It's a 390 RPM. It does 31 to the head and 20 to the body, making it a 3-burst kill consistently. Now, those are pretty good perks on a pulse rifle even right now. I mean, you get Zen Moment and you're like, hey, that's a good perk, I'm happy to have that. You get ricochet rounds, you're like, hey, that's a good perk, happy to have that. You get the SLO-10 sight and you're like, hey, that's a good sight, I'm happy to have that. I mean, it's got a lot going for it. Now, sure, it's missing an extra perk at the end like year 2 weapons tend to have, and it would be nice to be able to have something like Rampage added to it, but it is missing that extra thing. But it is so consistent, it is so stable. The recoil on this is like basically perfectly vertical, and it makes it one of the easiest pulse rifles in the game to control. I mean, you just put the reticle on the head, you pull the trigger. You don't have to worry about managing recoil or pulling down on the thumbstick or anything. I mean, it's a freaking laser beam. And I think that if you have this pulse rifle that you obtained in year one, it may behoove you to pull this thing back out, because like I said, I'm not telling you that this is a good pulse rifle just to be a hipster. Like, it's legitimately good. I'm not making it up, and hopefully the gameplay reflects that, because I'm playing against, in this gameplay, there's some not forgottens. I mean, there's some bygones. There's some pretty solid weapons and meta users in this gameplay, and I am popping off with this thing. I really, really, really wish that we could get faction weapons back in the loot pool somewhere, somehow, with random rolls. Because can you imagine this pulse rifle as it is in this video, without that extra perk, without a mod slot, without a masterwork that can go up to 10 stacks to really increase that range even further? Even without all that stuff, it's really freaking good. Can you imagine if we could get a god roll on this particular pulse rifle? I mean, that would be nasty. I would absolutely love that, and to be able to throw a mod on it. I mean, can you think it would add so much more depth to the game if there were, you know, the year one faction weapons back in the loot pool somewhere, somehow, that we could farm for and get random rolls on it. I mean, I would be out there. I would chase the True Prophecy. I still to this day, I still use True Prophecy from time to time in my kinetic slot. If you're not familiar with it, it's a Future War Call 110 kinetic hand cannon, and it's actually pretty good. It doesn't ghost a lot of bullets. It's a really solid 110. Now, if I could farm random rolls on that thing, you better believe it would make it into my bow loadout that I do with Lemon Arc. Rock Lemon Arc in my energy slot, and then I tend to run Criminal's Dagger in my kinetic. But if I could get a random roll and a god roll on a True Prophecy, that would make it into my kinetic slot, absolutely. I mean, with grenade launchers being meta, people would be farming for Truth Teller, because Truth Teller's a really good grenade launcher. People would be farming for Dire Promise, because 150s are actually pretty good if you get a god roll on them. I would farm for, you know, the number, the vision, the stochastic variable, the Maxim sniper rifle from New Monarchy, the older sister 140 energy hand cannon from New Monarchy, the unification from New Monarchy, the slug shotty, and this isn't even close to all the weapons. I mean, there's There's a lot more faction weapons in the pool, including fusion rifles, sniper rifles, etc. I think that it would just add so much more depth to the game if we could get those things back in the loot pool, get random rolls, throw mods on them, and masterwork them to our heart's content. Man, I would love that. It really is a darn shame. I mean, it is. It's a shame that that the factions died off. They're not relevant anymore. They have no relevance in the game. They're just NPCs that exist, and that's the end of it. There's no talk about how they play into the overarching storyline. You know, and they were in year one. I don't know if you paid attention, you could see how their workings and their dealings were interacting with the story that we were participating in, and you could pick up on some nuances, like, you know, Future War Cult saw the attack on the city coming from the Red Legion, and they prepared, and they were able to evacuate more people by themselves and keep people safe than any other faction, you know. And there's just stuff like that throughout year one that let us know that hey, by the way, they're still here, they still matter, they're still relevant. And the whole time we were waiting on faction wars to come around so we could farm armor sets, ornaments that affected that armor and made it look different. We were chasing catalysts, specific weapons, and, you know, the specific set rolls on those things, and that was a big part of playing in year one. Was what's the faction gonna have next time around? What's the rolls gonna be on these weapons? Remember looking at this week at Bungie, the TWABs, before the week before these faction wars would come out, and they would showcase, they would show off, okay, this time around there's gonna be the Vision sidearm with kill clip on it, and you're like, oh dang, because that was like during the Last Hope, Last Dance meta. And so people were like, ooh, a new energy sidearm for us to chase? That's awesome. I'm going after that, right? So, anyways, a little bit of ranting, but and rambling, but y'all get my drift. It's a shame that these things are not relevant anymore. But this pulse rifle, in my opinion, of all the faction weapons from year one, this is the weapon that makes the most sense in our current sandbox, in our the current state of things in the Crucible. I think that the John 7 is a really solid choice. So if you manage to get one, pull that thing back out and take it for a spin. I think you'll be surprised by how powerful it is. All right, I'll give you a little bit of gameplay without my commentary so you can see the gun in action and hear it in the audio cues in the setting, and hopefully enjoy that gameplay. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope to catch you in the Crucible.
Down! Look at them fall! Shut the enemy down! Double down! Double down. Triple down. Look at them fall. Two for one. What can stop you if you fight together? Nothing. Relax, Guardian. You're scary. This job, Guardian. You make it all worth it.